Wednesday morning. We're excited to have everyone here, and I wasn't here last week, but the room, I love the artwork. If you guys haven't had a chance to take a look, it's gorgeous. They've been doing so much work here for us. Anyway, we have a really good program this morning, but I want to ask a couple of questions. Who is here for the first time today?
Yeah.
Ah, that's awesome. We always have quite a few newcomers, and I really appreciate that. How many people consider themselves to be entrepreneurs? Yeah. Everybody? Excellent. Well, we have a really good program today. I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is Toby, and he has local races, and we'll let you get started, Toby.
All right, appreciate it.
Good morning. My name is Toby Teeter. I am with localraces.com. Let me ask a few questions. Has anybody ran a 5K, marathon, or considers themselves a cyclist? Quite a few of you. Yeah, we're in the middle of an explosion, basically, where just in the last year, 20,000 events occurred that were chip times in the United States, representing over 30 million registrations. And that is growing double digits every single year. So that leads us to local races. Local races is where runners and cyclists connect. We have portals in all 381 metropolitan areas in the United States, and we just launched in March of this year. We're based in Joplin. It's myself, my wife, Orlando Jones, who is my head programmer, and here. And real quick, my background. I was encouraged to talk about my background. I'm a corporate attorney by trade. I went to Missouri State, class of 96. Went to law school at Mizzou, class of 99. Go Tigers. And when I was 28, I founded an online ad network that grew rather large. We got to about 12 guys in the room, did about 24 million a year, and jumped right into issues with venture capitalists, term sheets. We ended up merging with a public company in 2006. And then I finished where I started. I was a corporate attorney for the parent company that bought us. So I did that for 3 years as part of my earnout, and we can get into that in the Q&A if you want, but I want to get back to local races. Local races, again, is the front door is for runners and cyclists, and when you go to localraces.com, we detect where you are, so you shouldn't see this page, and you'll be dumped right into your city. And I have a little 90-second clip that kind of discusses what local races is for runners and cyclists. Number one. The sound.
Any upcoming race event where endurance athletes could find local running and cycling clubs, discover group runs, rides, and social activities, and even register online for club membership. Where endurance athletes could browse and learn about local trails and explore a community resource directory of running retailers, bike shops, and more. Where endurance athletes can manage their activities, including their race itinerary, race results, event photos, personal records, and goals. 2 race directors built such a website for their city, Joplin, Missouri. They aggregated upcoming race event information from third-party registration engines like Active.com and others. They indexed all area trails, running clubs, and cycling clubs, and offered local clubs free profile pages, content and event management software, and secure online event and membership registration capabilities. Then they thought, why not build such a website for each and every city in America? A website where you can connect with your local running and cycling community, where you can sign up for events, join local clubs, find community resources, and discover group runs and rides. Localraces.com is now launching in your city. Join us today.
All right, so that's our front door. What we really are is we're a payment facilitator engine for race directors and both cycling and running clubs. So what we do is in return for per registration processing fee, we give away software. So we're a SaaS. We're web-based software for race directors and clubs where we help you manage your registrations for your events. We also process registrations for your sponsors, and then we also offer volunteer management software. So our competitors include Active.com, which was purchased for $1 billion 18 months ago, are essentially just a SaaS. You go there and you go, we are software, our front door software, what we decided to do is we built a Trojan horse where we spent the last year aggregating events across the United States, trails, clubs, presented those silos of information across the web, sliced in the metropolitan areas. So now you go to localraces.com anywhere in the United States, and you will see quickly all the events in your area, clubs and trails. And then over the next 18 months, what we're going to do is we're going to start developing relationships with race directors and club managers, give them a web presence, and give them the software. Another 90-second clip, video number 2. And this is a presentation for our clients.
Race directors and club managers use localraces.com for simple, beautifully designed online event hosting and registration. But what makes our products different? First, our secure online registration payment processing includes your very own merchant account, so you can accept credit cards and receive daily electronic settlement payments directly into your bank. So no more waiting weeks for paper checks from your current online payment processor. Next, we offer a simple, elegant event management dashboard that goes beyond registrant management and revenue reporting. In addition, we offer event sponsorship payment processing and management, so sponsors can select a level, pay online, and upload their company logos. Volunteers sign up and assignment management, event vendor management, including shirts, awards, and ship timing. That's right, you can stop manually counting shirts by size with our one-click current shirt count. And you can place your shirt orders using our projected shirt count calculator. And for clubs, we offer new member and renewal payment processing and member management. You also receive free profile pages for your organization and for each event. These profile pages include effortless content management, including your own cover and profile photos, upcoming race event listings with registration links, a recent events section with race results and event photo links, and your profile pages are responsibly designed, so they look great on smartphones and tablets. Your organization and events will also be featured in hundreds of race event search engines and local directories powered by localraces.com, where endurance athletes from all across America sign up for events and join local clubs. Go to localraces.com and sign up for your free account today.
So we're just getting started. We're a 3-person startup in Joplin, the center of innovation. So just in March, we just launched the city portal system. Right away, we had 5,000 sessions, 12,000 page views, and we added 1,000 Twitter followers. This month, we're winding up. We've doubled. And again, we added another 1,000 followers. And now that software piece, we're starting to layer in with beta events. So we have 3 events launching this summer that we're beta testing our software with. Then we're going to open the front door and go national in 2016. We have a CRM loaded with 8,000 race directors. We have a better product, and I'm really excited about what we're about to do. Last slide. Supposed to end this whole presentation with this, but long story short, what I asked of you guys is basically tell runners and cyclists in Springfield. If you know anyone that directs a race, and there's hundreds of races in Springfield, we want to talk to them. Be sure to sign for a free athletes account in our system where you can track your itinerary, your personal goals. We'll be launching that in the coming weeks as well. Connect to us on Facebook and Twitter so you can follow along, and we are hiring. We've developed this product in Go, but that's not required. We can turn people into Go programmers, and that's my presentation.
All right, awesome, great job. I have a quick question for you. Is there an opportunity here for this to carry over into other types of events from the management and the SaaS standpoint?
Yes, within this world, an event is user defined. So we already have people that are wanting to use the system for running camps or that do programs like Couch to 5K. So they can load those as an event. People can sign up. So a club can basically we can do their club memberships, classes have to do with running, and so on. But I think what you're alluding to is what Todd and Todd Green, I brought him from Joplin. He is a Joplin in New York City, a Joplin transplant, involved in various internet startups himself. He owns a company called 4 State Golf Cards, and you might have seen these where you get golf cards, And what we could do with this platform's chassis is mirror it for the golf world, and you can almost see it. Basically, you dump to the city, you can see all the golf courses, and you can book a tee time. And that's something that we could layer in down the road, skipping a few steps, but yes, that's possible.
We have a big nonprofit event every year where our members in our organization go out and they have teams where they have people donate to their cause for their team and stuff. So would this be something that would work with that?
If your teams are relay teams in a run, yes.
It's not that, it's like an event, so that's why I was wondering, it's like a walk, but it's not like an actual 5K.
Right. See, what you're alluding to is a big issue that we are only dealing with one vertical. But the issue is when you have an event-based business, it's really hard to get a payment facilitation system. So what happens is typically you go on Eventbrite or something, and you pay Eventbrite. Eventbrite shows up in your credit card. They charge a huge fee, and then Eventbrite a month later will mail you a check. And that is a slow loop. And that does not work for race directors. It doesn't work for anyone that has an event. What we're actually doing is we're actually giving you your own merchant account. Your club, you as a race director will have your own merchant account. Your name will be on the credit card. We'll do 24-hour settlements. And the next day, if someone signs up, donates money, that money lands in your bank account the next day. That's a huge advantage with us versus our competitors. Right now, what you're asking, we do not do that. But that is possible down the road.
So, you mentioned the merchant account then. Is that something that for clubs and organizations that do annual events, do they maintain the same merchant account or do they renew a new one every year?
It's one merchant account. It's one merchant account. Another thing we do is your event page is stagnant on purpose. So when you have an annual event, each prior year's event connects to the next one. We connect those. So typically, if you are a nonprofit and you have an event page, you'll typically have another event page for the 2015 version, the 2016 version, and we can connect those dots. So if someone lands on the 2014 one, we can link you to the 2016 one. So that's a key piece as well. But same merchant account as well. So if you're a club that also hosts events, same merchant account processes the monthly or annual dues as the event piece. And we can actually add a tag that where the event shows up on the credit card statement, by the way. Yep.
So what other software and platforms are you seamlessly integrated with? Well, I noticed you had the athletes can go on there and track their stuff. So how are you going to convert everybody who's using Map, My Run, and all the other technology, Nike Plus, to use your system, or are those other systems integrated into yours?
Yeah. So here's how we developed the platform. And this is Landon driven. Landon said, Toby, we should turn this whole thing into an API. It'll take a little longer, but this is the right way to do it. Only took a few extra months. But what we did is we have data. We have data on events. We have data on trails. And we have data on clubs. We also collected and aggregated data on run retail shops and cycling companies. And what we did is we put all this on an API, meaning you can actually tap that data and pull it in and display it any way you want. We use our own API to build all these portals. And at some point, we're going to open that API and allow other people to take this data that we've accumulated and display it any way they want, including local event calendars on their sites. On top of ours, we're an aggregator. We take third-party APIs, including Active.com and others, and display their events on our system. We also have access to APIs from Strava. Strava is a company that aggregates training runs across devices, including mobile devices and Garmin devices. So if you are a runner or a cyclist, you're used to timing your runs and downloading it onto Strava or Map My Run. They have APIs that take that data and pull it into our system. So when you sign up for a local race account, over time, we'll start aggregating your data across other systems and displaying it on one dashboard. So there'll be one page where you can run your itinerary. Here's my upcoming events, race events. Here's my PRs, here's my goals, here's my past running and cycling training runs. And then here's my past events I participated in, including my finishing time and links to photos. All that on one page. That is private, set private for now. Down the road we can get social, but that's getting kind of cute because we want to stick to our mission for the coming years, which is payment facilitation. So we want to aggregate first-party events onto our system and not just third-party events.
Kudos to Landon on the API because that's absolutely the right way to go. That's positive, that's worth the wait, and I would suggest that you add an affiliate program to that where people can pull that in a secure fashion. So that's an absolutely that's the right direction to go. But I noticed your page counts. You went from 12 to 25,000. What are you getting as far as paid customers signing up? What is your rate of growth for that? Because that seems pretty small. And what is your plan to grow? Because I know that in this business, marketing is key. Organic growth will kill you because everybody's going to outpace you with organic growth.
It's good questions. But right now, our conversion events are 0. So we launched the portal first, and we're launching our products now. So we gave it like a 90-day head start. We're doing double-digit. Actually, we're doubling every month so far. Knock on wood on the organic side. If you want to know where our traffic's coming from, it's between Google search, organic, because we have about 90,000 pages of content. It's refresh and refreshing. These events keep coming on our system. We also have our beta events are driving a lot of traffic. It's typical for these events to drive their own traffic. So, for example, we have 3 beta events that are this summer. They're going to spend about $3,000 on Facebook. All that's pushing to their event pages for signups. That's already bringing a couple hundred uniques a day to our system. Another thing we do is we have a very sophisticated algorithm on Twitter, where every time you brag about your mileage on Twitter, we auto-reply to that saying, congratulations, by the way, there's some amazing 5Ks in your area, so just check it out on localraces.com. And we have about 1,000 of those going out a day. So we're connecting to people in automated means where, as people talk about their activity, we all know these runners that brag, right? Yeah, right, yeah. 26.2 on your bump sticker. So as they brag on Twitter, we actually auto-respond. And that's actually driving a lot of traffic. It's been very positive. And then we're actually seeing a lot of return visitors. So all the things I'm hoping for are happening so far, knock on wood. But at the end of the day, we're expecting our clients, so over time we'll have hundreds, if not thousands of events on our system, and each of those people will be driving traffic to their events. And we're going to give them tools to track those conversions. And that's something else our competitors do not do. Our competitors do not allow tracking tags on success pages. So nobody can go and spend $200 over here and see how much of that converted over here on our competitor sites. We're going to allow tracking tags. Yes. Sorry.
I think it's only a matter of time before your competitors see what you're doing and say, what are we going to do to meet this challenge? They're here, they're growing, and they're bigger than you. They can spend more money than you. That's what I'm getting at. What are you going to do to meet that challenge? That will be a challenge because if every industry like this, somebody comes along, they see a small fish that's successful, they either buy you or they outdo you. You're right.
We're competing against a company that has 3,000 employees and does about $500 million in registration processing fees. That's part of the fun. I've been here before. I've done this, and sometimes I'm a little cocky, but I think I'll be okay. And you know what? If we take our 1% market share, it is what it is. It's still successful. If I keep it to 10 guys in a room and gals, we're very, very efficient, and we'll be just fine. And if any of those happen as far as exit events, I'm open to those, but I never build a business to sell it. I've been fortunate in getting there, but I really encourage people to focus on cash flow, and all that kind of takes care of itself.
How are you connecting with your race directors? I mean, just for instance, I was in St. Petersburg this weekend. The race director does 38 events, in a year. I mean, so almost every week this particular race coordinator has races every week. How are you connecting with those race directors nationwide versus just in this local area, because I mean, your presentation really sharp where it has all the different big cities. But a lot of those race directors anymore are national race directors, and they hold hundreds of events.
There's a number of ways we're going to connect with race directors. One, that this world's actually really small. Every time there's a major event, there's an expo the day before, and it allows you to connect with hundreds of thousands of people, literally. As in Chicago Marathon, the day before you go to the expo, and there's 100,000 people in the room, where you can queue up conversations all day. One thing that we've done is, again, our competitor has an API, an event API. In that event API, they include the race director's name, phone number, and email address. We have that in a CRM. So right there we have 10,000 race directors, names, event, when their event is, phone number, email address, cell phone number, the whole bit. So we have things loaded and ready to go. So we're going to connect directly to race directors. Start the conversations. We're going to have basically Skypes, webinars, where actually show them what we're doing on the front end, what we do for them on the back end. And we have been using Joplin as a test. And we were already connected very well with all those race directors. And just give you an idea how big this market is, if we just convert the 4 or 5 race directors in Joplin, that's over $100,000 a year in processing revenue right there just in Joplin. I'm not expecting this to happen overnight, but I think we'll have enough business to keep us busy, and we'll grow organically. And it's got to keep it ahead of our costs to keep us up.
Great presentation. Question for you is, what are your fees for those race directors, and how does that compare to your competition?
It's a good question. What we decided to do is our pricing is very similar across all our competitors. What we do is we offer much more software. In essence, the pitch goes like this. As a race director or a club manager, we will give you a web presence. We will give you essentially a website on our system. We give you a content management dashboard where you can manage that content. You can upload your past events and your current events. And for each of your events, you get software where you can manage your registrations, your sponsorships, and your volunteers. And we give you all this software. In exchange, we charge a processing fee every time someone signs up for one of your races. Now you have 2 choices. You can absorb that fee yourself, where you can say, hey, you pay $40 and you're a 5K, and then the processing fee comes out of your end, so the athlete does not see that. Or you can pass that fee to the athlete. And that's very typical. That's the default. And typically in our in this space, it's around 6% plus $1, or 6.5% plus $1.25. Everyone's kind of in that space. This is very Ticketmaster-ish, but people are getting numb to it. Where essentially you sign for a $35 5K, you're going to pay $40 in processing fee, and that's just how it is. But what we offer is more stuff for the race director. We try to make it easier for the race director. It is very hard to direct a 5K or a marathon. You got to close a city down, and we're building a very intuitive dashboard that manages all these things. And our competitors don't offer A, B, C, and D. They just do the race registrations. This is an itch that probably no one in the room understands, but when you run a 5K, when you direct a 5K, you got to pull down a spreadsheet of everyone that runs, and you got to manually count shirt sizes. Think about that. That takes hours, and it changes over time. Then you got to guess a week out from the event how many shirts you're going to order. This is a huge headache for race directors. We actually created an algorithm that shows you your current shirt count right there on the screen and your projected shirt count. And you can actually order based on our algorithm. And based on our history, it's very close, because there's a certain bell curve of shirt sizes for a 5K versus a half marathon versus a marathon that we have replicated from data across systems that we found, plus our own user experience as race directors. So with a click of the mouse, you can send your T-shirt order to your vendor. Those are the kind of things that no one's ever thought of, and that we're pretty excited about launching. So, kind of got off the tangent there.
Hey, I think it's excellent that you're using Go. I think it's a bold choice, given that it's such a new language, but it's fantastic. I'm a big fan. I'm curious if you can talk a little bit about your plans for scaling at the infrastructure level. I know right now, if you're running just with a few sites like Joplin as your beta, what platform are you using for your infrastructure and what are your scaling plans?
We're hosted in the cloud like most anybody nowadays. We are not on Amazon. We're on Linode, which I need to talk to Landon about because our bill's really high. Because that's a good example. That's a good problem. I have two different. I'm involved in several startups, so I can see how my costs are based on traffic on the site, and I'm noticing that we are actually trending about twice as expensive as another site that I had that has a similar growth curve. But typically nowadays, when you have a web service, you hop on a very scalable back end, like Amazon, even Google has this, and some others where you can go on and infinitely scale. So if 3 million people hit this page tomorrow, we'll be able to handle that traffic. And that's a big issue in this space. In fact, Active.com has crashed over and over again. They lost this account, but they had the Chicago Marathon on their system. And Chicago Marathon goes, on April 1st, you can sign up, and you get these emails for months. And there's hundreds of thousands of people trying to fill 46,000 slots. And so they hit that site in the millisecond, sort of like a Pearl Jam concert coming on on Ticketmaster, and it crashes active. Now what's happening is to solve that riddle is they're doing lotteries. More and more of the large marathons are doing lotteries. But anyway, so what we do is we are on the cloud. Kind of dumb down the answer because not everyone. I know Matt. And that is always going to be an issue. I'm hoping to have those problems as far as growth. Go is a new language, relatively new language. I went back and forth. Landon's a big Go guy, and I knew that when I brought him on. My background's not Go. I built web platforms in PHP and Django, which at the time was a bold choice as a derivative of Python. And now we're doing Go language, which is someone that works for Google invented this a few years ago, and it's been slow growing, but it's fast and nimble, and there's not a whole lot of tools sitting on top of Go to play with. If we're doing Ruby on Rails or something else, there's this whole toolbox where you can grab code and move really fast. So we've actually built a lot of stuff from scratch, but it's starting to pay off. So we're kind of excited about it. Yes.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for presenting and leading the innovation epicenter and coming to the #3 startup city in the country. And again, just to reiterate, Toby, what is it that we can do for you as participants in Race or entrepreneurs here in Springfield to help grow localraces.com?
Well, I just appreciate letting me come here. I wanted the feedback foremost. I thought the feedback last time I was here was amazing, so I was really interested in the questions I'd get. But again, follow us. Just follow us as we grow. I want you to be part of our story. Everyone in this room knows somebody that directs a 5K. We want to talk to them in the coming months. I do have business cards, but I'm easy to find online. There's my email address as well. Appreciate it.
And thanks again for making the trek out from Joplin. That was tremendous. We're looking forward to watching you come back and present more of your startups. Yes. The middle is the time for announcements. You guys can see them up here, so I'll let you guys read them. While you guys are taking a look at that, I just want to shout out a few people who make a difference in a million cups. First, you guys can get on our YouTube channel and check out all of the past presentations, and that video is sponsored by Beyond Creative, which is a creative studio that has a whole suite of things that they can offer you in the creative arts, and they are down the hall at the E-Factory. We just had one of our social media managers leave. She took off to Kansas City and hopefully is looking at greener pastures, maybe with Kaufman up there as well. So doors open if anyone is interested in doing a little bit of social media work. It was really rewarding for her. Her name was Keisha. As well as Joel and Tim. Joel's my younger brother, and Tim Cook works over at Verve and Beatbox. They take care of the audio visual for us, and we thank you guys tremendously. And then of course to the E-Factory and Brick and Mortar for sponsoring our coffee. So now that you know all what that goes on behind the scenes, I want to introduce you guys to our second presenter, which is Cody Stringer with Mercy Research and Development, and he's here to talk to you about Spin 66.
Thanks. See, does this work? Yes. Awesome. So I am Cody Stringer with Mercy Research and Development. I'm also the lead organizer for the Spin 66 Innovation Summit. Spin 66 is a homegrown conference on innovation and entrepreneurship right here in Springfield, right here in the E-Factory, and in fact, some of it will be in this very room. It's now in its second year, and the second installment will be next week, actually, so it's coming right up. I always like a good comic book origin story, and so I'm going to kind of be talking about the origins of Spin 66, where this came from, and where we're going with it. So I am with Mercy Research and Development. We're kind of this like scrappy, somewhat entrepreneurial ourselves medical device development group that's housed within Mercy Health. And I don't want this to be too broad here, but we got a grant from the state of Missouri through the Missouri Technology Corporation, and the focus of that grant was to build entrepreneurial capacity in the state of Missouri, and particularly to focus on Southwest Missouri and Springfield. Now, the main sort of deliverable, sort of the headline thing that we were supposed to be working on was to spin out the medical devices that we were developing here in our own backyard, in Springfield, and if not in Springfield, at least in Missouri. This was an economic development initiative. 2 years in, we're coming into early 2014. We're nearing the end of that grant program. And we were either on track to meet our deliverables or had already met our deliverables in a pretty big way. And so we started thinking outside of those deliverables that we had proposed in our grant. What else can we do that will further this mission of building entrepreneurial capacity? And so we had already gotten some follow-on funding to continue this work. And so we started looking at conferences, events around the Midwest, hopefully in Missouri. We were interested in entrepreneurial-based conferences, places where we could go and connect with entrepreneurs who could be interested in licensing our technologies from us and moving them down the field. And toward that end, we needed something with a little bit of a med tech or healthcare bent. And as we looked around, we saw a lot happening out on the East Coast and on the West Coast and up in the Twin Cities area, but nothing here really in the Midwest, especially close by in Missouri or neighboring states. And so that brought us to a point where we asked a very pivotal question, and that was, if it doesn't already exist here, can we just do it ourselves? And so we took that question to the E-Factory and to the Springfield Area Chamber. And with a little bit of massaging and finessing on what we really wanted, because we kind of took this to them and were like, this is the event that we want to go to, so let's just do it. And they were like, well, you got to know a little more than that. And we're like, okay. So we flushed some ideas out of this, and at the end of this meeting, the answer that we came away with was, yes, this can be done. Yes, if you refine it and make something more than just a cool conference that Mercy R&D wants to go to, then yes, it could have value. And so that was sort of, we took this spark of a question and started running with it following this meeting. This was in February of 2014. Now, if you're kind of keeping track, last year's event was on May 5th. And so we cobbled this thing together from that very first meeting to when we actually held the inaugural event in about 10 weeks, which was really dumb. So sort of the next step, the next thing that happened that really turned the corner for us is that we connected with the guys that create Springfield. And this is where things just kind of, as I remember, it spun out of control. But really what we did was we really accelerated forward, and we made some headway in a way that we could not have otherwise doing this ourselves. And so the guys that create Springfield, Jim and Sean, were super helpful because we had no background in really organizing an event, and they did. And so they really came on board and pushed us, really refined the event and flushed out the details, and really took a good hard look at what our objectives were for this. What did we want this to be, and what did we want it to do? And the answer to that for last year's event, and I'm not going to read through these, but really they were towards the goal of building entrepreneurial capacity in Springfield. So we wanted to foster a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship, and we wanted to sort of build upon this baseline, this community, this ecosystem, which would allow Springfield and Southwest Missouri to really foment new ideas and talented entrepreneurs that were willing to take that next step and launch their ventures rather than just sitting on those ideas. And really just look at what we wanted the Springfield entrepreneurial system to be like by connecting with thought leaders and shareholders in this community. So as I said, over the course of 10 weeks, we just cobbled this thing together. And on May 5th, 2014, we held the first ever Spin 66. This was a half-day event over an afternoon. We had some awesome local speakers that really just knocked it out of the park. We followed our speakers up with a kind of pitch competition that was almost more of like a clinic and how to give an investment pitch. And then we got everyone together out on the back loading docks for some beer and food, and that was a lot of fun. And that was, I think, really where a lot of the value came in, was letting everyone just really connect and talk. And we kind of put people together in the same room that may not have been otherwise, and that was what was really powerful about the event. So I kind of consider myself this like hesitant event organizer. I have no background in event organizing. I'm not particularly good at it, and it scares the hell out of me. And so after the 2014 event, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. Someone else can handle it. And then there I am a couple months later when we launched, got the planning committee back together for Spin 66 2015. Yeah, good times. That didn't last long. So we went back to the drawing board and we said, okay, we had the beta test. It was a huge success, made possible by our sponsors, some fantastic speakers, and all the backing that we had from the community. What do we do in 2015 to kind of continue to grow this event? And if you'll notice on our objectives here, those are all the same except for the one that I've highlighted at the top. We wanted to take this, turn the event on its head just a little bit, and make it less about building a community, though we still wanted to include that, but make this more an event with a larger scope, geographically in particular, and make the event a showcase on the cool stuff and the talent and the passion that's coming out of Springfield in Southwest Missouri. And so next week we'll be hosting Spin 66 2015. We've got some awesome speakers. We pulled speakers from some top speakers from around the Midwest, and a lot of the programming is the same. We just sort of went bigger, longer, uncut, and so it's going to be a day and a half now rather than a half day, and we're just kind of continuing to grow the event. However, if I was to kind of wrap this up, I would say that we're sort of still in improvisation mode. Like each year, we go back to the drawing board and we're saying, what do we want this to be? And we're not really focusing on the long term. What does this event look like 2, 5, 10 years down the road? What do we want this to do over the long term? But it's not just about us anymore, right? Mercy R&D, yeah, we had our cool event that was exactly what we were looking for, and we'll continue to do so. But this is about providing impact and benefit and relevance to the community, and that's all of you. And so any way that we can continue to get you all involved in the event, helping us make it a success, and making sure that it stays relevant is really critical. So thanks a lot for your time, and I'd be glad to take any questions.
Cody, thanks a lot. This is I've heard a lot about Spin 66, but didn't really know all the details that go into it. I just returned from an event in Orlando. I was asked to kind of be an executive mentor to some of the top business students at the high school level at a conference out there, and it was a roundtable kind of fashion where we were talking with these students, and they asked one of the questions, what would I do different in college? And so I told them to get more involved in these types of events. 1 million cups. I had everybody write down the name 1 million cups and look it up when you get to college. I was curious, what's kind of the age group of attendees at this event?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's kind of continued to be this this audience, this target demographic that is like as wide a net as possible. So I think last year we just we kind of threw in everything in the kitchen sink. We're just like, whoever we can get here, whoever can relate to what we're bringing to the table, let's just bring them in. And so we kind of connected with everybody. This year, I think we're really focused on you mentioned college students, and that's an area that we're really keenly focused, and we've been working on connecting with Missouri State, Drury, Evangel, particularly with their art and design, computer science, entrepreneurship courses, where our program this year would be really relevant. And along with college students, our headline speakers this year are really going to be talking about some themes that are really valuable to very early stage entrepreneurs, early stage startups, and kind of like some keys for success. And how do you take an idea and turn it into a successful venture? And so, early stage entrepreneurs, folks who are just getting started, could really get some value from what our speakers have to say. But I think where we can really provide value are people who are sitting on their ideas. They've got something that they're passionate about. They keep thinking, could I launch this? Would it be successful? How do I go about doing that? And with some of the themes that our speakers are going to be talking about this year, that could be really beneficial to those individuals.
So Cody, are there, you said you want a lot of students coming. Students don't have any cash, obviously. Are there discounts to those students? I know there's some students here in the room. Are there discounts towards other organizations? And then what do you think has been the biggest hurdle to this point of getting this event going? And then what's beyond Spin 66 as a one-time annual event? What else can spin from Spin 66?
So as far as promotional and discount codes, you can register on the website at spin66.org, and there's a registration portal on the page, and you can use promo codes at that site at the site to register. And students have a discount code of student, aptly named, and I think that's $40 off. We do have a discount code for folks who showed up last year, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now that, and we'll just pretend that everyone in the room was at last year's event. And you can use the promo code alumni on the registration portal to get, I think, half off your ticket price.
Yeah.
And so, what is spinning out of this, and what does this look like moving forward? And I guess the short answer is I don't know. This is kind of like a constant experiment, right? We had sort of the beta test last year. It was a success, but this year is kind of an experiment too. We changed up a lot. The program is really completely different, and so this year is again another experiment to see if we can provide impact and if what we're doing is relevant to the community. With that said, we're trying to build some things into the program that can continue throughout the year. So, for example, this year we're really highlighting some of our local presenters in an Ignite format. So this is going to be one of the more interesting parts of the format of the program, I think, where we have local speakers who will be speaking in the Ignite presentation format, which is 20 slides, 15 seconds per slide that auto-advance. So it's a very challenging presentation format. I'm giving one of these talks, and I'm a little bit scared to death about it. So this is it's a cool format, but this is something that we hope to spin out of Spin 66 and make this an ongoing event that happens outside of just our annual event. So yeah, Spin 66 will very likely to continue to be a yearly event that happens every spring. But we hope that there are things that will come out of this event that, like the Ignite talks, that we can continue on down the road. As far as challenges and difficulties, a lot of it is just manpower. We're a small organizing team. We're all basically volunteers. I mean, no one's really getting paid to do this, and so just boots on the ground, getting everything ironed out has been really tough. And as a result of that, The event ends up being, if you went to last year's event, you would know this, a little rough-hewn. It's not real polished. But I mean, that's okay. This is an entrepreneurial event, right? So it needs to be a little rough and a little bit experimental and a little innovative. And so that's okay. But what we don't want is to have that rough-hewn nature of the event turn into, kind of be the event's downfall. We don't want to have little fires and disasters that really hurt the event as it happens and as we move forward year over year. So definitely just manpower and getting the help that we need. We struggle a little bit with direction. Again, we want this to be a community event that we get buy-in from the community, from the innovation and entrepreneurial community on. And just continuing to make sure that its relevance is really critical to us. And then bringing in local speakers. We're always looking for really great speakers, and we've got some awesome local speakers this year. But as we move forward, we kind of hand-picked all these folks, and we really need a feeder program to bring in these speakers, have people in the community suggesting speakers. And it's not just entrepreneurs that we're looking for, but it's people in a traditional organization or corporate setting that are doing cool and interesting stuff. It's people that are involved in the nonprofit sector and people that are involved also in entrepreneurship. So we're looking for people who can really showcase a great deal of passion and talent in the Springfield area.
Before I get to my question, I just wanted to say that you said that it felt rough, but that's probably because you were organizing it, because I was there and I thought it went very smoothly. So I just wanted to say that you're not as bad at organizing events as you thought.
Thanks.
Yeah, everybody gets a pound of that every now and then. Anyway, for my question, you said that you were wanting to make sure that entrepreneurs were showcased in the community at the event. I was kind of wondering what expression that would take at the event, like how you were planning on actually doing that.
Yeah.
And I also just wanted to say that I thought that was a pretty good idea, because I know a lot of young entrepreneurs, especially for their first company, that's one of the hurdles is just feeling like, what do I need to do to get started? And the best way to get over those hurdles is to talk to somebody who's already done it and succeeded at it.
Yeah.
So what expression will that take?
Yeah, that's a great question. That was one of the kind of key areas that we focused in on, even when we started planning this event from the very outset over a year ago. So this year in particular, that's an area that we really key in on the program. And so this year, we're doing that in 3 ways. One is with the Ignite talks, where we are only showcasing local speakers. And so that's one way. But these are people who they're already involved in what they're doing. They're fully involved. They're passionate about what they're doing. They're already taking it forward. And so then to focus more on early stage entrepreneurs, we are again bringing back the pitch competition, and we've selected some really early stage companies that are doing some really cool things to present at our pitch competition. And actually on the website you'll see that we've got 5 companies presenting, and it says it's for a $5,000 prize, but we have actually upped that through in-kind sponsorships and whatnot to a total value of $9,000. So it's pretty good stakes for a small, very early stage pitch competition, and we're highlighting some young entrepreneurs and early stage companies, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. But I think again this year, the real value is going to be taking all these people, the investors, the seasoned entrepreneurs, the early stage entrepreneurs, and the folks who are kind of not even starting out yet, and we're just going to dump them all in the back loading docks and give them some beer and some food and talk to each other and connect and get some advice and get some help and share ideas on projects that you're already working on or future projects. And I think that's where last year we really saw a lot of value in some key outlets, and I think we'll continue to this year as well. What that looks like going forward, I don't know. I think we've gotten a good start. I'm always open to suggestions on how we can do that better, how we can better provide value to young entrepreneurs, because that's a really critical piece of creating a strong ecosystem, and we definitely want to be a part of that.
I have some ideas for that. I'll share after.
Perfect. We'd be glad to hear.
But you may have already answered this. What are the 3 different sessions of the Ignite talks that you're having? and how do those reflect the goal, the mission of the organization?
Yeah, so maybe I should back up a little bit from that question and say that we got a lot of feedback from last year's event. And one of those was that we had these breakout sessions where we had multiple speakers speaking concurrently. And we had some feedback that our attendees wanted to see multiple presentations that were at the same time. And the way we broke out the session was kind of cutting up the kind of timeline or continuum of a startup company from like early stage launch to mid stage, kind of slogging it out to exit and giving back to the community. And so it made sense that there would be people that would want to see all three of those areas. And so this year we decided to try to mitigate that issue by focusing more on industry segments. And so our three industry segments this year are health and med tech, because that's what we want to see, and we're pretty excited about that. And we've got some awesome speakers in that area. IT and high tech, because this is Southwest Missouri is becoming an IT high tech hub in a lot of ways, and we definitely want to advocate for that community. And then the third is art and design. We're hearing a lot about the division between sort of the tech developer side and the art and design side, and that more and more there's a need to marry those two groups. And so we wanted to bring art and design into the fold at this year's event. So those are our three areas.
Hang on. Yes. Are you looking towards having workshops? It seems like I was looking at the site as we were going on. It looked like there was a lot of presentation, but you say there's kind of also some breakout type stuff. Are you looking at kind of a workshop thing where people come in and actually get something done there on site?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that was something that we have always considered and just haven't done. So probably the closest we're getting to that is on the afternoon meeting Thursday, May 7th. We're starting the event off with a series of seminars, more educational seminars that are of interest to startups and early stage entrepreneurs, things like IP considerations, SEO and digital marketing, and others. And so that's probably where we're kind of engaging most with the attendees. But we've always kind of looked at workshops or really hands-on project-driven like breakout sessions like that as a good opportunity to really engage our attendees. We just really haven't fleshed out yet what that looks like and what we would want to do with a program like that. And so it's something that we've always considered, but we haven't actually executed on that type of program yet.
Cody, in wrapping up, we always ask the same question: how can we as a community help you?
Yeah, so I talked about this a little bit, but we're always looking for speakers. We're also always looking for sponsors. And we're using some grant money for this, but we're always looking for help in making this event a success, especially as it grows in the coming years. But if you can, come to the event next week, and yeah, please enjoy yourself. I know I will enjoy myself. It's going to be a fun event, but also think about the event for what it is, and experiment to see if we can provide relevance and impact and build the entrepreneurial community in Springfield. And get in touch with me and leave me feedback and help me understand what we can do to kind of further that mission, because that's a really critical piece, especially as we move forward into future years. So we definitely need the community to buy into the event and be a part of it, because I can't do this alone, right? And then just kind of help us make the event better. If you're interested in speaking, or you're interested in getting involved somehow, please reach out to me, and feel free to sign up for our mailing list at spin66.org. Connect with us on Facebook or Twitter so you can get updates not only about this year's event, but future events as well.
Great, thanks. Thanks to Toby and thanks to Cody. Great presentations. And Toby, I don't think had ever met any of the organizers before he applied. I think he'd been to the event and obviously has a lot of experience in the startup world. We really didn't know the extent of that experience. So that's one of the cool things about this event is, Toby applied and we thought his company sounded great, not knowing anything about his background. So thanks, that was really interesting to hear. As you guys know, we're here for the entrepreneurs. So if anyone knows a company that's going to benefit from getting involved and presenting here at 1 Million Cups, we'd love to hear about this. And we don't do a really big job of introducing ourselves, but just for those new people, if you have questions about what 1 Million Cups is or what it's about, Debbie Bellotti over here, see her, Philip Baird, one of the new guys here, Chad Carlson, who's been here a long time, and then someone who's even been here longer, Devin Dillon, right there. And I'm the old guy, I don't want to even talk about that. But anyway, so we appreciate your support. We're going to do this again next week. We do have a new website that the Kauffman Foundation has put together. It's presented a few challenges to us, as most changes like that do. So if you do go on our website and apply, just be patient, and we'll work through all the issues. But thanks for your support.